again to the news that didn't make the news. How are you? And valiant in this household. Let's see if we can get this right. Okay. Hello and welcome to the news that didn't make the news. I hope to find you in this moment in a state of peace and love and joy. Welcome to the one person that's here. I bet it's Renee. Oh, it's Kathy. I was wrong. Hello, Kathy. Happy eclipse mayhem to you and to everyone present here. I'll get this right in a second. Bear with me one moment. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. So, as many of you know, we had an eclipse on April 19th or 20th, depending on where you were. These kind of eclipses only happen a couple times per century, so this is a big deal. And I did talk about this previously, but there's more on this that I want you to know. It's imperative at this time that we follow our heart, because the energy of the eclipse can be very chaotic, and very, very unexpected. So unexpected, expect the unexpected. So unexpected events, and they can feel chaotic and erratic and spontaneous and all of those things. But the reason for that erraticness and the reason for that spontaneity is to release yourself into the new version of you, the highest version of you. Following your heart, what feels pure within your heart, following what feels organic in your heart. Are you ready for very radical and very unexpected change is what I'm asking you now in this moment. Okay, eclipses are about radical change. We had the eclipse on April 20th, and our second eclipse is May 5th, so that's 2 days from now. And then we have two in October. I believe it's the 14th and 18th of October, 2023. Now, one of the things that's really significant at this time about this particular eclipse, there's thread hanging off my hat, is that the nodes are about to change over. The lunar nodes are about to change over. And so these eclipses tie in to these nodal changes. And so the significance to that would be whatever was going on in your life in 2021 in the fall. Some of you may experienced this earlier. So the nodal change and the eclipse would have happened in November of 2021, but many of us experienced changes in occupation, meeting totally different people, starting a totally different journey or a totally different mission sometime around September or October of 2021. But again, the nodes didn't change and the eclipse didn't happen until around, I think it was November 19th of 2021. So if you can remember back to the fall, back to October and November of 2021, you will recognize, maybe if you journal, you can look back at that particular date, like I can. I did not look back at it because I will never forget what happened in those months, so there was no need to look at my journal. So many of you, like me, may know what happened around that time. If you don't and you keep a journal, look back. And the reason is because when those nodal points changed and when we had those eclipses of 2021, you will have made many realizations about new people, about past people, about new directions, new geographical locations. Um, it would have been the start of major, major, major change in your life and major direction. Now, we all like to have major hesitancy also when it comes to changing things in our life. So maybe you remember your hesitancy more than you remember the people, the places, or even perhaps the situations. So eclipses are radical change in your life. Think back to what happened in your life around October, November of 2021. You may have been feeling like there was a need to change things, a need to breathe new life or inspiration into your existence. You may have met people that sparked something in you that was totally new and totally different. You may have decided to switch jobs, careers, missions. You may have made a geographical change around that time. Whatever you felt most called to do at that time of those notable changes, which fall 2021, that you did not um, allow yourself to partake in, what you did not allow yourself to finish. So, any unfinished business, okay, that you started in the fall of 2021 is coming back for a little ecliptical party, okay? So, that would have started for us on April 20th. May 5th is the second one. And then we go right back to that spot again and we hit October twice in 2023. Unfinished business. What needs to be finished in your life? What needs to be taken back up in your life? Where does your life need inspiration, or where does your life need direction or attention? Um, we are moving in about a month out of the Libra South node, or we're moving out of the Libra node of being the negotiator and the middleman and kind of carpet sweeping things so that we can stay complacent, compliant in people, places, and things that are not the highest version of ourselves. Okay, so that's where you would have started back in the fall of 2021. Well, our little ecliptical nodal change party is what is now affecting the eclipse we had in April 20th and the eclipse we're having 2 days from now. And then again, we will hop back over to October. So it will have been, right now, we're about at the 18-month mark of when you would have started experiencing those changes or the desire to experience those changes. So now this ecliptical season is taking us back to 18 months ago when those nodes changed. Also, the fact that many of us, not just in our personal lives, but on a global scale as well, we're keeping ourselves in the mediator, negotiator, taking one for the team attitude, taking one for the team, or maybe for the company, for the job, for your family, for your personal life, even though it wasn't what you wanted. So we're moving into, in a couple weeks, the North Node of Aries, which is all about what makes me happy. Where is my desire? Where is my burning passion for change in my life? Eclipses are about change. We try to ignore things sometimes. We maybe try to ignore lots of things, okay? But these eclipses are going to be, I don't want to use the phrase gentle reminder, guys, because this is not going to be a gentle reminder. Whatever came up for you 18 months ago is what you're feeling now. And it's the need to close things and end things. It is the need to take care of unfinished business, to start things you wanted to start and didn't start, and also end things that you wanted to end that you didn't end. Okay. So this energy is very erratic. It's very unexpected. Um, it can be very chaotic if you are trying to hold on to the past version of yourself, of your job, of your life, of anything that is not bringing radical transformation. Because this time is about radical transformation. Now, why are you here? Do you know why you're here? Do you recognize people, places, and things? Do you see into that? Do you know with your soul, which means are you listening to your heart? Knowing with your heart and with your soul, where do I want to go? Where feels like home to me? Because between the four eclipses this year and the nodal changes that we went through, the nodes change every 18 months. That's why I'm saying whatever you wanted to wrap up 18 months ago but didn't, or whatever you wanted to start 18 months ago but did not. That is the energy that's coming with these four eclipses. Okay. I'm sure, and I talked to many of you, I know you felt the one on April 20th. So we have one in another 2 days. Now, some people are moving through this very generously and very gracefully because a lot of us have a focus on a soul-centered, heart-centered life. Okay. So, what are you here for? Have you had the realization and the recognition within other people, um, within a state of mind, within a state of well-being, within a state of happiness? Do you have a sense? Do you recognize what it is when you see something that stirs your heart, that stirs your soul, that you really wanted, probably even 18 months ago? So that is the theme for you now. It's the resurrection of the theme. I don't know that it dies, but it's certainly maybe waxing and waning is a better word for it. But it's really important for us to recognize why we are here. And I don't mean, what did you come here to do as far as taking care of your family and jobs and all of that. I mean, are you able to recognize within your heart and within your soul what it is that you want? And so many of us recognize exactly what it is that we want, but recognizing it um, is only half of the reason that we came here. So once we recognize it, then our job is to go after that recognition, to go after that true soul path, whatever makes your heart sing. And so, a really big theme when it comes to solar and lunar eclipses, and this was a really unusual one as far as the way it happened. So, this realization, this monumental, and it's going to be monumental. I'm sure you guys are feeling it already, and chaotic and unexpected. Now, there's going to be a lot of unexpected energy for absolutely everyone because that's what the eclipse brings. However, the amount of chaos that comes with it depends whether you are moving forward on your journey. So, me asking you, do you recognize me? Do you know who I am? Do you know why you're here? Do we know why we're here? have I, have we had the recognition of the reason that we came here? And that is not by your guides telling you that. That's not even your higher self telling you that. It's not something you can learn from any person out there external to you. That is when you can look into your own face in the mirror, when you can look into your own eyes in the mirror and feel what it is, okay? Because things that we signed up for prior to birth, contractual things that we signed up for. Now, I'm talking about the things you have chosen because a lot of things play into this. We're in a certain cycle and we all chose to come here at this incredibly amazing time for the ascension process. But beyond that, which we know is a whole lot. And hello, everybody. I don't want to read the comments and get distracted because it's so easy for me to um, get multidimensional ADD. You cannot even imagine. If any of you have ever hung out with me, you'll in real life, you'll know that. Um, so the sun and the moon, the dynamic between the sun and the moon, which is the dynamic between the female and male energy. I see you, you're hidden. I see you, you're hidden, right? Because it's about the light of the sun giving light to the moon. So we have this masculine and feminine energy exchange between hiding, between you don't see me. you, and so why I'm saying this to you is your higher self, there's nobody that's going to drop down, your guides or anybody else that's going to tell you what those contracts were that you made before you came in here. The way you know those contracts is through feeling. And it's not animosity, it's not chaos, okay? Those are not signs of a soul contract. And this is separate from karma, right? Karmic things can be very heavy, but when you're in a karmic situation, you have awareness of that. I'm solely speaking about your contracts to do certain work, meet certain people, be in certain relationship dynamics, live on certain places within the grid, assist people around you and in your energy field with the energy of new earth, those type of things. The only way you will know that is by the feeling of pure organic love, joy, and bliss in the middle of your heart center. There is no other way to know what that soul contract is other than that feeling of bliss. And when you feel that for the first time, it can really catch people off guard if they have not had an experience like that. And I would say all of you have already had experiences like that. It's just that those experiences do start and they start small and then they amp up, right? Like a phoenix on fire, if you will. And so those realizations, those soul recognitions become bigger and bigger, as as a people who signed up for the ascension at this amazing time on earth, this is something we've been processing all of our life. So maybe even you, like me, could remember all the way back, let's say, to kindergarten, to meeting someone that really sparked your soul and really sparked your ignition, your passion for life, your direction. Maybe as a child, it made you want to dress a different way or change something really small about yourself. But that catalytic energy of meeting those soul to soul connections becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. And so this particular switching of the nodal points right now is about the amped up energy of soul connection, the realization, and the recognition. What am I here for? Who am I here for? Okay, it's so important. And the reason that I'm here, the person that I'm here for, numero uno, right, is always me first. This time is about radical change. This time is about radical healing. This time is about radical love. And this time is about radical expression. So, radical change, radical healing, radical expression, radical expansion, and radical love would have been the theme that started for everyone approximately 18 to 19 months ago. So if you can, or you journal, or maybe you're like me where it's forever ingrained within your heart and in your memory that you don't need to look back at it. Okay. But the radical change, the radical love, the radical healing, the radical expansion requires radical adaptability. This radical healing and love and change requires radical acceptance. Okay. And that is radical acceptance of self and radical acceptance from me to you, from the entire soul group. Okay. So, radical acceptance, not that anyone needs an example, but if someone's going through something really chaotic and tumultuous and very upsetting, very earth shattering, very life changing, and it's very, very difficult for them, if you are the person that has the connection, that is a friend with that person, your expression, your love, your healing, your acceptance, your being there for that person going through that very chaotic, very radical change is really important. And so we have to not look at relationships the way we looked at relationships. Okay, we can't say, well, this person in reality is not saying they love me. This person in reality is not saying they want to be with me. This person in reality is not saying anything that I would expect a friend or a family member or loved one to say if I was important to them. And that's what I mean by radical acceptability and radical adaptability. We have to understand that the changes that have started within the last 18 to 19 months are so radical that sometimes they leave people speechless. And it doesn't mean that they don't care about you, doesn't mean that they don't love you, doesn't mean that they don't wish the best for you. But a lot of these radical changes have put people into the hermit mode or into the mode of not even being able to speak sometimes. There is a really great fortune in knowing what we want, okay? And so these eclipses from 2021 to now are about radical change and radical acceptance about what is our great fortune. Is it my great fortune to be rich? Is it my great fortune to live in a mansion and drive a Rolls Royce? And that is not what I mean by great fortune. What I mean by great fortune is that you can gracefully and lovingly and acceptingly and adaptingly move through these ascension times, these changes, and radically accept and heal yourself so that you can know that things don't always look in the third dimension the way they are felt when it comes to these soul contracts and when it comes to the way we live our 3D physical reality. Great fortune is about knowing that I have the light and the love and the fortitude and the choice to be unstoppable, unforgettable, and burn my passion in a direction that is the highest version of myself. The thing about it, this great fortune, is part of this great fortune has nothing to do with the third dimension at all. This great fortune has to do with, do I see the dark side of myself? And can I accept the dark side of myself? Can I love and accept the dark side of myself? Am I looking for and speaking only for love and light and radical acceptance for love and light? Or can I radically accept the darkness within me, the sadness or the grief or the disappointment, the anger, the jealousy, the whatever it is? Because we have to stop pretending in the third dimension that it's all love and light and that everything is not here, and these ecliptical energies and these nodal changes at this time of ascension to serve the highest version of ourself. Hi, guys. So, seeing the dark side of myself, seeing the dark side of yourself, whatever that is for you. We all have these things, right? We are light beings, angelic beings who decided to come down and take a physical existence. A physical existence in a physical reality where we could still be a light being, where we could still be an angel, but in a physical existence. Can I love the dark side of Tina? Can you love the dark side of you? Do I get angry with myself when I'm angry? Do I get angry with myself when I'm sick? Do I get angry with myself when I feel disappointed? Or can I accept both sides myself? And for you, can I love your dark side? Can you love your dark side? Can I love the dark side of you, the unpredictable side of you, that side of you that can't make a decision, the side of you that has a hard time choosing the highest version of yourself? Because if I can see the dark side and the light side of myself and love myself, if I can do that for me, that means I can do that for you, right? We're going through so many incredible, incredible changes, right? And so I think sometimes people think, wow, that person must be really mad at me. And I've been in this place as well. And, or can they radically accept the fact that I'm having a difficult time becoming the highest version of myself? Or more plainly, that I'm having a hard time choosing the highest version of myself? What does great fortune look like? Great fortune is seeing the dark side of myself and loving myself. Great fortune is seeing the dark side of you and loving you. It's seeing the dark side of self and others, but still being able to love unconditionally. I want love for me. I want peace for me. I wish love for me. I wish peace for me. I wish expansion for me. I wish great fortune for me, but maybe not in the way that other people want great fortune. Because great fortune has nothing to do with financial gain, has nothing to do with the house you live in or the car you drive. Though I am very grateful to have those things that are necessities in life. Can you recognize me? Can you recognize you? Can you choose you? Can you choose great fortune? This time, this very moment, is about unexpected transformation. Out of the blue, unexpected transformation. If you're holding on to the things in physical reality that aren't fun, that are boring, that are non adventurous, that are not exciting, this time will be chaotic for you, right? Because your soul, in conjunction with these mathematical alignments, will do anything that needs to be done to get you to come home to you. It's not about you coming home to me. That's the byproduct, or the icing on the cake, as I like to say. This time now is about radical, unexpected transformation. Our life right now is like the phoenix, and most of you know the symbolism of the phoenix, I think, right? It just goes up in flames and comes back down in ashes to rise again. This eclipse is about that. Think of your life like the phoenix. Radical change requires radical adaptability. Radical change requires radical acceptance. Can you accept me when I change? Can you accept yourself when it changes? Can you adapt to me when I change? Can you adapt to you when you change? Can you radically adapt to the changes in the solar cycle? Can you radically adapt to the changes in the world? To the changes that are going on all the way around us. This time is about radical adaptability and love and partnership and family dynamics and jobs and careers. Geographical locations, radical adaptability when it comes to food resources. And I don't know if you guys know what's been going on. There have been fires and explosions in 15 or 20 of the biggest food plants in the United States. Okay, so I'm not speaking of radical adaptability in just one simple form. Do you have food stored? Do you have a place to plant food? Are you thinking about your radical adaptability? Because you're going to have to. I have really had a problem finding. You can find food, you can find alcohol and junk food all day long, but if you're looking for gluten-free or organic vegetables, it's been a real problem lately. I'm going to 5 or 6 stores now to find things that I eat every single day. And I've taken over my apartment complex's entire yard, cut the trees, cut the bushes as small as I can get them so I can plant food. Radical adaptability. Okay. And I'm not saying, thinking, or feeling that there's going to be, some situation where there is no food. But how do you want to eat? I mean, do you want to eat crap out of a can? That's something you need to, think about, because I think this is coming down the pipeline a little bit differently, perhaps, than we originally saw it. And maybe it's not food, maybe it's just healthy food, or that's the way it seems to be right now. Since 2019, liquor, alcohol, beer, and junk food has taken over aisle after aisle. I mean, first they removed, the 20-foot long salad bar and replaced that with chips and White Claw, seltzer, whatever it is. Uh, and it's happening more and more. And then they removed the giant, like freestanding seafood thing and replaced that with Cheez-Its. In case you haven't been paying attention in the grocery store, this is coming right now. The need for radical adaptability. In the face of radical adaptability, radical change, and our friends and our family and our loved ones going through some very chaotic things, okay? Because we all have certain things that we hold on to that we don't want to let go of. And radical change means letting go. And, not wanting to let go or wanting to sweep things under the carpet can work for so long. But the further we get in the ascension process, with the help of 4 eclipses this year and the nodal change, you can't do it anymore. Well, you can, but it's really going to affect your health. It's going to affect your well-being. Many of you are having problems eating. Many of you are having problems sleeping. Okay. Radical adaptability. We have to pursue greatness in the face of the unknown. Radical change. Radical change. Is it going to be peaceful? Is it going to be an easy maneuver for you? Is it going to be chaotic? Are you going to watch the foundation of your life crumble to pieces? Now, some people have a thing that they are holding on to that is controlling or manipulating all areas of their life. So when you're looking at something like that, that's what I'm talking about, chaotic energy. If you're holding on to something, one thing, okay, let's say you're holding on to a job. Let's say that job is out of alignment with the planetary new Earth, okay? And you know it, you have all that information, you're well aware of the fact that that certain job is not in alignment with New Earth. It's not in alignment with the highest version of yourself. It's not the way you want to make money, and you're unhappy. So if you're doing that, and that's affecting your finances, that's affecting your relationship, that's affecting everything in your life. So you can hold on to that. But this is the situation where I'm saying you will be a person within this radical change that will experience radical chaos. Okay, we all have little things, some of us bigger things that we are holding on to, but some people on the first wave of ascension are holding on to something like I just described that is radically different from who they are at a soul level. And if that is you, it's going to get chaotic. And for people who are already in this spot, it's already chaotic. It's hard to treat yourself and love and honor and respect yourself when you're doing a person, place, or thing that is not in alignment with what you know you want. It's not a matter of good, bad, dark, light, evil. It's not a matter of any of that. Within us, within the soul, there are these things we came to do. Now, the heart is the part of the body that recognizes the person, place, or thing that you came here to do. That's why I started off by saying, what are you here for? Have you had the realization of what you're here for? Have you had the realization of the soul contract for the work you've chosen? It doesn't have to be a specific job, but on the first wave, it will be in alignment with the new Earth. Okay, you won't be, working at a trash site that is burying garbage that catches on fire, for instance, on the first wave. Or if you are, that is the thing that will radically change. And whether it's a job or a relationship or geographical location or family dynamic, doesn't matter what it is. If you are on the first wave and there is a mountainous thing, I'll say, mountainous thing that you need to change, it will affect everything. So we'll say, for example, that you decide to leave that job behind that is not in resonance with your heart's capacity to choose new Earth when you know in your heart that's what you want to do. That chaos will transfer into every part of your life, your relationships, your geographical location, the weather in your geographical location. Hopefully I'm being clear and you understand what I'm saying. So whatever it is, if it's a very radical, large, systemic alteration, if one thing that you're doing that you really feel is out of alignment will systemically alter everything else in your physical reality. Think of your life like the phoenix. Radical change requires radical adaptability, and radical change requires radical acceptability. Can you see the dark side of yourself and love yourself in that moment of chaos, in that moment of choice, in that ashes of the phoenix? Can you say to myself, this is what's important. This is the only thing that matters. Wishing for myself love, peace, expansion, and the highest version of me means, in my radical acceptance of you, I hope that you choose to change, because I wish you love. I wish you joy. I wish you peace. I wish you expansion. And that is why I wish change for you. Exactly why I wish change for you. There's a pretty big theme that's been going on for the last 18 months. We'll go right back to these changes, nodal changes, and eclipses within these nodal changes. Okay, so holding on to a situation out of fear of financial loss. This is huge, okay? And it doesn't matter your age, your demographic, your financial status, it doesn't matter. This is a huge theme for 18 months. And so, one of the ways that this comes across a lot is women, especially women with children, but women in general, don't want to leave a situation, even if it's really bad, okay? Negative, oppressive, narcissistic, abusive, whatever. And that women and men both do this. I'm just using this example, okay? Holding on to a situation out of fear of financial loss. I can't do it if I don't have him. Where would I go? I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have any savings. I don't have this. I don't have this. I don't have this. Here's the thing. While I can say, yes, that is true, and I have been in that situation twice myself, here's something that is so important for you to know. If you are in a situation that is abusive, oppressive, or even irritating, okay, and just lightly, I don't want to make this sound like I'm coming at this solely from the angle of abuse, because I'm not. But even if you're in a situation where your soul's calling is being squashed and you want to leave that situation, people are staying stuck in that because where do I go? How do I change? How do I move? It's very scary. Like I said, I've been there. People with kids, it's scarier. But also there are people that I talk to on a weekly basis that are seniors that have been married for 40, 50 years. So it's equally scary to them, even if their children are grown and gone. The thing that is so important to realize and to recognize is that you may be worried about losing your car or losing your house or losing the equity that you put in the house, or maybe you're not going to be in the good graces of your family if you leave that person, or maybe that's not religiously or socially acceptable in your circles. But let me tell you something. At a minimum, if you're in a situation where your soul urge is being suppressed or repressed, just leaving that situation, even if you have nothing, and nowhere to go changes your energy field to the point that the repression and all of that has been pushed down and buried leaves your field, meaning a new energy that's already there waiting for you comes directly to you. Now, what people don't seem to understand is when they don't want to make the change, or uh, they don't want to call someone and say, hey, can I come and sleep on your couch or whatever. But the thing is, your energy changes so much when you get out of the energy field of someone that you're not compatible with. Okay, could be abusive, narcissistic, all of those things. But many of you are not in that place. You're simply in a place where the person doesn't really accept the current journey that you're on. So, as long as you are in a relationship that does not support who you are at a very deep level, your financial situation will never change. Holding on to a situation out of a fear of financial loss puts you in more financial loss. So, if you're a person that's been in a relationship for 25 years and you're worried, I don't have money to do this, whatever, I'm telling you, you could pack your bags and sleep on someone's couch for 2 months, whatever, a couple weeks. Your energy will change so radically immediately. When we are in a relationship dynamic that is oppressive, abusive, narcissistic, or just doesn't work for the ascension path, period, that repression comes with a lot of things, but the biggest thing is the repression of new energy into your field. So if you are in that situation of holding on to a relationship out of fear, I don't want to lose my house or the equity I put in my house, but what you don't seem to understand for a lot of people, what they're not understanding is by simply moving out of that relationship, they have just expanded the financial um, anything that is coming to you on the ascension path of manifestation cannot come to you with repressed, suppressed energy. Okay? Let me rephrase that. It cannot come to you fully. So while people may think, I don't want to go sleep on my aunt's couch for 4 weeks until I get it together. The thing is, if you've been working at something already for 25 years and it's not working and your energy is repressed and your manifestation is not working or not coming to fruition, like you're noticing that you'll manifest little things or you'll manifest situations, but you won't fully pull it into it, just repressive and not on the ascension journey with you, that's going to stop it. Okay, so what I'm saying is, you could leave a situation that's repressive, abusive, whatever it is for you, and bounce back and expand so much in a short matter of months that you'll be where you never were for 25 years. Okay? Because the most important thing about manifestation right now is that we're in alignment with what makes the heart pulse. And if you're in the same house with someone where you're irritated and frustrated and you can't speak your truth and you can't be who you really are, that is doing so much more to you than maybe you know. Okay? It We'll go back to great fortune. What is great fortune to you? When I look at people, here's my idea of great fortune. Here's my feeling of great fortune. You take care of yourself, you're healthy, you're open, you're adaptable, and you're adventurous. That's great fortune. The house I live in is not great fortune. The house is a place to sleep. It's a place to cook. It's not my great fortune. My friends, my connections, my adaptability, my attitude, my health, right? And anybody in that job scenario or relationship scenario needs to think about their health, because high blood pressure, um, all kinds of things, even just getting every little thing that comes along when you're, there are thousands of people that live together, okay, that are not compatible, okay, but it depends what your soul recognition to other people is and what your awareness level is to other people. Now, if you have two people who haven't chosen multidimensionality, you have two people that haven't chosen ascension, and they're just in this little 3D, okay, we're going to do this job and take care of our kids and have a beautiful life. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. And they're both in the same space, it works fine. But when you have, and this is part of the soul contract thing for all of you experiencing these amazing relationship dynamics, in case you didn't know, is you get into a situation when you're younger. What happens is you're in this situation, could be 5 years, could be 10 years, could be 25 years. And then we get to this point, okay, around between 2012 or 2018, depending on who you are, where you are, okay, where one day you're like, oh, why am I here? What am I doing? What is this ascension? What is this planet? What is all this ancient knowledge? And you could go on and on and on. But you're with a person who didn't prior to birth choose to experience that. How do you deal with that? How does anybody deal with that? Now, I say this, I think, in every video. I'm not saying to ostracize your family, your friends, and your coworkers. I'm saying one-on-one relationship dynamic where one person has chosen ascension and the other person is not. Don't have to be in a narcissistic, abusive, whatever relationship, but it is oppressive to the expansive soul passion and direction on the ascension path to be with someone who hasn't chosen. Well, I can show him this and teach him that, and maybe we can meditate. Okay. Yes, you can go through that. But someone either chose it or they didn't. You cannot choose it for them. Okay. And usually when I talk to people, they're not radically concerned with a big loss of love or whatever. It's more that they don't like to deal with change, and they don't want to have to move, or they don't want to have to split up things, or they don't want to have to face adjudication or whatever. What I'm saying to you is, this is going to sound cruel. There were certain contracts, okay? Midlife, later in life. That's you guys, okay? Midlife, later in life. Even though, yes, we know we're going to be immortal and live forever. That's a separate video. I'll come back to that. But the reason for that is you are on this wave of expanded conscious awareness. You're on the wave of expansive consciousness. You chose to have certain contracts later in life that would be in alignment with your same path. And I know it seems cruel, but it's not. And I want to ask you to look at something. If you perhaps are in a marriage that is without expansion, without joy, without utter fascination. Let's just say that. And I know people think that's crazy, but I know people that have been together for a long time and they're in that state. So, okay, don't be so pessimistic. It's real, it's out there. If you are not experiencing that with someone and you made this contract later in life, then you making this change or separating from this person is going to affect every single thing. Now, the part that may also seem a little bit cruel is there's a very, I don't know what word to use. Legitimate is definitely not the word. There is a very conducive to your soul path, conducive to your self journey reason for the soul contract coming in mid to later in life. And that is if you are, and this is hard for me because I'm not prejudging people. People fall in love, they get married, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But what I'm saying is in the last between 2012 and 2018, there were lots of people that were happily married, and one person woke up to the fact that they chose the ascension path and the other person didn't. I cannot even imagine living with someone. You guys watch my videos. Can you imagine me living with someone who did not sign the contract for multidimensionality? So the point is, these contracts that seem like cruel and unusual punishment when you meet some person, place, or thing, some inspiration that wants to, needs to tear down every aspect of your life that is not making your heart beat, is not connected to your soul purpose, right? Because if you're staying in a marriage that is untrue to your expansion, if you're staying in a marriage that's untrue or unconstitutional in your own thoughts and your heart space about what it is you really want out of life, it happened later in life because by staying, once that split happened, you will also notice that that's not the only thing in your life. You're probably staying in a job that you don't want to do. Maybe many of you want to do something creative and in the healing arts forever, but I'm telling you, these things are connected. Okay. So soul contracts, say two people meet when they're 60 years old. Well, okay, but I already have a partner. I already have a job. I already have a 401k. I already have a house. I already have a routine. I already have these things that my family takes as acceptance, okay? But this is not about 3D acceptance. This is about radical change and radical acceptance and radical adaptability, okay? So I meet you. We're 60 years old. Why? So I can tear down everything in my life. So I can make radical change in my life for everything that does not jive with my heart center, for everything that is not in alignment with my soul purpose. Okay? And you're going to do the same thing. But let me tell you what else happens in this relationship dynamic. Okay? Doesn't matter whether you're male or female, has nothing to do with that. We all have the male and female energy. What happens in this relationship dynamic of these two 60-year-old people who meet and they're like, oh my God, that's what life's about. That's what I want. I want that right there. I want that right now, right? What happens? Well, there's two people involved in this, obviously. Let's pretend we're both 60. Let's pretend one person already knew this was coming. In this case, it was me. So my radical change, my radical acceptability, my radical expansion started getting ready for this because I knew right here that it was about to happen. Okay. So I got myself single. I got myself a whole lot of things because I knew this was going to happen. So because I knew this was going to happen, I got myself single. I got in alignment. And I'm not saying my life is perfect, but I'm saying I'm not doing anything I don't want to do. Nothing. Nothing. Not one thing in my life am I doing because I owe it to someone. There's not one thing in my life that I'm doing because I feel that I should live up to my family's expectations of me. There's not one thing in my life that I'm doing because I am concerned about what society thinks about me. There's not one thing, right? Okay. So we're two 60-year-old people. It's just that I had a little heads up that you were coming. Okay. And I've known, actually, I knew since I was a child that this person was coming, this radical change was coming. But when I started to feel that it was almost here, I went ahead and did all this ecliptical stuff inside myself in preparation for that. There's always one person that has a feeling or has an intuition or has a knowing that this is about to happen. Okay. So that radical love, that radical expansion, that radical healing, that radical change, that's how you have to view the other person that didn't know it was coming. Okay. There's always one person that knew it was coming. In this situation, it just happened to be me. And the reason spirit lines us up and the reason we sign these, crazy, chaotic, life altering, radical, expanding, healing, loving changes is because if we know as a soul and as a spirit, which is the go between the physical body and the soul, is the spirit, the relay, the higher self, spirit, higher self, same thing. Okay, in my opinion, doesn't matter. The higher self, the spirit, is the relay between my soul and my body. It goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth until you adjust to having the soul right here in the center of your body. And the reason these two people experience this in their 60s is because how do we radically change the world the way we know it needs to be changed if we can't radically change ourselves? Okay, so this person comes along and you're like, oh my God, I waited for this my entire life. This passion, this excitement, this, all of it, whatever it is, somebody who really knows me, really just really gets me on every level. Okay. And that happens midlife, later life, so that you will radically change everything that is not in alignment with your soul purpose. And chances are, if you will stay in a relationship that has had a big vibrational or frequency gap, everybody will do it for a while. But if you've been staying in it for a while, that means you're also staying in unsatisfying jobs. There's a mission that you really want to do. There's a mission that you really want to assist other people in doing. There's something that you want to help me, want to assist me in doing. There's all this collaboration that's coming, but we can't do it if we won't radically change and radically adapt and radically love. So in this soul connection, there's one person that had the heads up. This time around, that happened to be me. It's probably you last time, okay? um, and the other person has to hold space while that other person heals, changes, expands, and loves, okay? Because they already know. It's not, people say, oh, get in this dynamic, oh, he's asleep. No, it's not like that. There is no, this person's asleep. One person had a heads up that it was coming, and they did a demolition in their life. Okay. Changing people, places, things, attitudes, health, body, fitness, food, every single thing, knowing that it was coming. And I'm not saying we do all this stuff for another person. I'm not saying that. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. But we have to be unconditionally loving to the other person on the other side of that contract that has not. They are awake, they know what they want, but they also know that they have to crash the life around them to get it, because If you will stay in a relationship or a partnership where there's a huge gap, you will also stay in other things that are a huge gap. What did you come here to do? What are you doing? How do you know you should take care of your body? How are you actually taking care of your body? Are you sleeping? Are you eating? Are you being healthy? Are you exercising? Are you moving your body? What I'm saying is, if you are willing to stay in that dynamic that is not the highest version of you, and I know it sucks, guys. I've seen in doing readings, I've talked to so many people, okay, that are in this dynamic. It's like, oh, I've been with this person for 25 years and we're really good friends and I don't want to hurt their feelings. And they had the vaccination and I didn't. And it's just this whole big, the further into the ascension path we get, the more catalytic things pop up. The amount of women in readings that did not want to have a physical relationship with their partner, husband, whomever, who had the vaccination because they didn't want to be on the receiving end of that. So, yes. Oh, hello, Justine. I see you have a lot of comments. I'll go back and watch the video tomorrow and read the comments. Like I said, I get multidimensional ADD, and then the video can be a nightmare. I don't want to do that to you guys, but yeah, I just happened to see one comment um, here from Justine. Being hurt and killed is nowhere near as scary as staying stagnant and allowing that to happen. Yes, and many of us have many memories of being killed, burned at the stake, all of that stuff. I've talked about that in prior videos. This is important, okay? I know it seems unfair that it comes this way, right? So it comes along and asks you and it shows you this thing. Spirit, your soul has this, spirit connects you with the soul, with this amazing gift, with this great fortune. And you have to, middle-aged or older, change what your idea of a gift is. What's the gift to you? Who is really the gift to you? Okay. What is great fortune to you? That's the question. And it's hard. And, sometimes I feel like even in readings, maybe I'm not as empathetic as I should be. I don't know what it's like. I've never been married, but I've certainly been in long-term relationships, and I know that those things are hard. But the reason for the late contract is because of the 26,000 year cycle, the event, and all these other things that we know we're in the midst of now. Okay? There was a purpose to your relationship, and people maybe sometimes think, well, I made the wrong decision or I made a bad decision. No, you made a choice for yourself at the time that was good for yourself at the time. But the thing is, when something is no longer productive for us or expansive for us, that's when we have to make changes for those things. You guys, I am not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but you cannot imagine how incredibly wonderful it feels to get up in the morning and just go, I'm happy. I'm not doing, there's nothing that I'm doing that I don't want to do. I don't talk to people I don't want to talk to. I don't accept jobs I don't want to accept. All of these things. And you guys know I took a job on Valentine's Day, actually, February 14th, 2 weeks in. I gave 2 weeks notice. I felt bad. Why can't I make this work? Why can't I make this work? I thought about that for a second, right? And then the thing was, I gave 2 weeks notice after only being there 2 weeks, because the reason why I didn't want to leave was because I loved what I was doing every single day. I was working in a greenhouse, talking to plants, transplanting things, talking to people about plants. I love to talk to people about plants. It's one of my greatest joys. And I love to plant plants. So I really was kind of resistant. But you see that my string or my rope of resistance is very, very short, okay? Because I lasted 2 weeks and then I gave 2 weeks notice. And I thought, oh, this sucks. I love the plants. I love talking to people about plants. Why can't this be different? And my dad said, why aren't you upset about it? You're not even in the slightest bit upset about it. And I said, it was good. I worked there. I made some money. I paid 2 months rent. Um, and I told the person that I worked for, I talked to you 2 weeks ago. Nothing's changed. I think more highly of myself than to come in tomorrow. That was it. End of story. She really didn't have anything to say except for, where are the contracts that you worked up? Where are the parties that you sold? That kind of stuff. But that was it. But I looked at it as there were things that were so productive. I learned I could go back to physical labor. I learned that my healing was at a certain point. I learned that my attitude was at a certain point. I learned that my joy was expanding every single day. And then there was a man that worked there, and we only met twice because he volunteered for a couple of hours a week. And so he worked for free. And the second time we talked, he said, have you done landscaping? And I was like, yeah, I worked for myself for 3 years. So anyway, long story short, not to give you my personal life here, Danny is his name, asked me without pretty much anything other than talking to me if I wanted to do a little landscaping with him. And so I did landscaping for like an hour, and he said, will you be my landscape designer? And I said, yeah. And then he said, do you want to landscape with me? So I go to this job. I put in my 2 weeks notice because, actually, I knew after about 3 days, 2 or 3 days, that it absolutely wasn't going to work. So I'm telling you what my tolerance is for something that doesn't work. Okay, it's about a week or two at max. That's why I'm telling you this story. But the thing was, I met Danny, and I have doubled what I was making at the greenhouse. Okay, so that's huge. And that happened because I trust myself, because I said, okay, there's a reason I went to work at this place. There's a reason I went to work for this person. There's a lesson in it here. What is it? When something is restricting to me, and I don't mean creatively restrictive, it wasn't that. When someone's behavior or a work environment or a relationship is restrictive or repressive or joyless, I'm out. And it doesn't take very long for me to leave. Okay. It's hugely important. And the reason I tell you that story from 3 months ago was because this eclipse is taking us back to the nodal changes about 18-ish months ago, when we fell in love with something that we wanted to do, when we met a new place that we wanted to live, when we saw a healing modality that we knew we had to be a part of, whatever it was for you. This later in life contract that feels like such a pain in your ass, and I'm sorry, is here because it's pursuing greatness in the face of adversity. This contract later in life is pursuing greatness in the face of the unknown. It's maneuvering your way through the dark. It's asking you to change all these little things that are happening, all these little things that are going on that are part of the bigger picture, right? Like I said, if we'll stay in a job or stay in a relationship, that means we'll probably stay in a job that's unhealthy. We'll probably stay in a family dynamic that's unhealthy. We'll probably not focus on music or focus on healing modalities. We're not going to focus while we're in that repressive energy. I don't mean your other person, your partner, whomever, your family is repressive or a bad person or a bad guy. Okay, I'm not saying that at all. But you came here The contract was not just about meeting someone when you were 60 years old. That meeting took place so that you could deconstruct and release what is not the highest version of yourself so you could do the planetary work, okay? And you know about the planetary work. You've started the planetary work. You've been doing the planetary work for a while. But if you're wondering why you haven't hit the high point or the crescendo, the musical crescendo in your love life or in your career or in your financial status or anything else, is because maybe you're holding on to a situation out of fear of financial loss or fear of disappointing your family or whatever it is. That contract always involves two people, the one with the heads up and the one who didn't have it. And if you're the person in the situation that had the heads up, trust me, I know it can be challenging. It has been very challenging. But loving the dark side and the light side, both of self, loving the dark side and the light side and the struggle and the change and the chaos that comes to the other person and the dynamic that was surprised by this meeting. Okay? I'm not saying I wasn't surprised at all. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's like a scale of shock and surprise, right? Okay, so I was shocked and surprised that it happened the way it happened, but I wasn't shocked and surprised about the fact that it did happen. The other person was shocked and surprised, I think, that it did happen. And so the person in the shock and in the surprise is the one that has some deconstruction to do, I could say, but it's not even deconstruction because these eclipses, these nodal changes, the stuff in your birth chart, the numerical trip switches, these codes, this solar radiation, this solar energy is, it feels like color, it feels like light waves, it feels like expansive bliss and joy and love, but really, not to take the fun out of it for you, it's a bunch of numbers filing down into your DNA and altering you. Okay? And you're being altered in every moment. You are being altered in every moment, and we are asked to pursue greatness in the face of adversity. So the person that didn't have the heads up needs a little extra love and extra support. And I have not always been great about that. It's not always easy to do that. You can look at yourself. It's like looking in the mirror. Well, I did all these things because I knew you were coming. What's that song lyric? I knew you were coming. So I cut you a piece. Yes, the person that was surprised and shocked and didn't know it was coming needs a lot of support to make it through all these changes. Okay, being supportive. And the amount of women that I have heard say, well, why can't he be on my level? Why can't he know what I know? Whatever. Accept the fact that this has been a male dominated patriarchal system for forever. Okay. And accept the fact that because of that, the woman is on the front line and leading the feminine energy, I should say, not the woman, is on the front lines and leading the way in this. Okay. So stop expecting the masculine energy to be right there where you are, understand everything that you understand. Okay. And I'm not saying there's a lack of awakeness. I'm saying don't be frustrated, internally frustrated with the fact that this other person has not done the life altering radical changes that they needed to make. Okay. Oh wow, this is the longest video I've ever made. Congratulations. Not really. So think about it. Sit with it. What's great fortune to you? What's a gift to you? Because a gift is not about money. It's not about physical things. A gift is when you feel in your heart, oh my gosh, now that I see this, now that I know this, now that I've experienced it, I can't ever be without it. That's what a gift is. It's something that you magically run into that you don't ever want to be without. That's the gift. Reconsider maybe what is great fortune to you. Is it great fortune to hold on to a situation out of fear of financial loss? No. The main thing is if you're holding on to a situation out of fear of financial loss, the moment you let go of that situation, your finances completely transform. And you may say to yourself, well, Tina, I did this like 15 years ago, or 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, and that was not the case. Okay. But you weren't on the front line of ascension 20 or 30 years ago. You weren't on this end of the journey, end of the 26,000 year cycle. Let's wrap the crap up and do the fun, exciting, expansive, loving, healing, joyous stuff. That's where we are now. And this energy is so strong and so conducive. These light codes, this inundation of solar frequency that is to us, that's what it is. But to me, it's a code. And I'll tell you, I've been seeing the weirdest thing for about 3 weeks now. So, you know, Braille, like you see Braille like outside the bathrooms and stuff like that. Like it's just a bunch of, you know what Braille looks like. It's a flat surface with raised dots. What I keep seeing over and over and over again is like there's a surface with all these nodes on it, and I just keep seeing what looks like, I don't know, like it looks like someone's hands. It's like someone's, but it's not a hand. Oh, this is so weird to explain. When you see people like in cop dramas, taking the when they're taking the lie detector test, there's the little metal things that go back and forth. That's what I keep seeing. I keep seeing like it almost looks like a mechanical hand. So it's not, I'm not saying it's mechanical, but it's not a person's hand. What I'm saying is it's the hands of time. The hands of time are reading the node in the cycle. Let it go if it doesn't bring joy and happiness, and reconsider what is your great fortune, and reconsider what is a gift in your life. And whatever it is, it's not a gift. Whatever it is that's not great fortune, change it, because these eclipses are here to push you into a chaotic energy, a greater chaotic energy than you've already experienced, to change those things. And I know sometimes it seems like a cruel fate or a cruel, unusual punishment when I speak to some people. They're upset about things. They don't want to make certain kinds of changes. Okay. I understand that. Changes are not easy to make. But the value of your existence, the value and the fortune and the gift of your energetic field changes so drastically when you decide to go after what it is that feels like joy and excitement, that your money situation can change overnight. You guys, I went for a year and a half without physically being able to work because I was so sick. I took a job. It sucked. I quit. And my financial system, like that, changed literally overnight, just by talking, being nice, just being myself. Yes, I want to do this. Yes, I want to do this. No, I don't want to do that. I don't do anything I don't want to do that's not fun. That being said, lots of things are fun to me that are not fun to other people, like cooking and doing dishes and doing laundry and doing yard work. Everything can be fun. Everything can be a gift. My life feels like great fortune. Remember, in these soul dynamics, and these are a great fortune. These soul contracts are such a gift. Be understanding and expansive. Be in radical healing and radical change and radical love and radical self expansion, love, healing, change. Be in that radical state for that other person that didn't know you were coming. It's so important. I cannot believe I talked for almost an hour and 30 minutes. I think I'm about to lose my voice. Um, I do Um, I'm doing several things right now. I am still doing readings. Most of you guys are last minute. Most of everything that I do is last minute because I don't believe in rigidity and I don't believe in staying stuck and I don't believe in staying stagnant. So if you're looking for intuitive readings, my Facebook post is pinned to the top of my page if you are interested in what kind of intuitive, I can't even talk, and tarot card readings I do, check out Facebook, instant message me or comment here. So much love, so much honor. Thank you so much for your support, and I can't wait to read your comments tomorrow. And I will watch that video and read those comments. Oh, hello, Don. Hello, Justine. I'm sorry, you guys. I knew this was going to be a video where I just couldn't even look down at you guys, so I apologize, and I will see your comments tomorrow as they appear when I rewatch that video. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your love, your support, and your honor. Radical healing, radical change, radical love, and radical expansion. That's what this eclipse energy is about. And these eclipses, these people are like, oh, that was yesterday. Okay. Well, if you're a feeling person, an empathic person, like you know, I know you are, 30 days before and 30 days after. So these are 60 days. Okay. But we just had one April 20th. Now we're having one May 5th, and we have two back to back in October. Good luck. Good fortune. Happy releasing. And be in joy. I love you forever. Bye.